Back, Slick Ric Bucher, and apologize to Slick Ric Bucher because he was not only right before, but maybe right now. Appreciate you, big dog. But let's start with you, Acho. Did the Nets prove anything in their win over the Lakers?
Nah, they didn't prove anything because you can't learn anything from an incomplete picture, Sel. You can't learn anything from an incomplete sound, Slick. If I'm listening to a track a cappella, my homeboy invites me to the booth and he starts laying down his verses, but I don't hear the beat behind it, then I don't really know if the track is gonna bang or not. Like, yeah, the verses might hit, but the beat might be off. If Marcellus ever invites me to his house, like a decent friend would, just ever say, hey, Acho, come over for dinner, you know, me and the wife gonna cook for you. If that would ever happen.
Her cook?
And I, no.
No.
If that would ever happen, Slick, and I was to walk in and all the furniture ain't there, don't ask me about the house decor, because the picture is incomplete. So if I'm watching the game when the Nets don't have KD, if I'm watching the game when the Lakers don't have AD, don't ask me what I learned. I ain't learned nothing because the picture is incomplete. Let me see a complete picture, a full track. Let me don't just hear the track a cappella. Let me hear the entirety of the sound. Let me walk into Marcellus's house and see all the furniture. Then ask me to evaluate. But y'all asking me to evaluate an incomplete picture, can't do it, won't do it.
Yes, you can learn something. You're suggesting, Acho, that the regular season essentially doesn't mean a whole lot because there are always variables, right? There are always variables. There are always guys missing. So the suggestion would be, well, it's not the playoffs. It's not full force. So there's nothing to be learned. And I believe that in any situation, you going to Wiley's house and you go inside, I don't care if there's not furniture. You still get to know, like, what does it smell like? What are they thinking for dinner? How do they behave with the kids? Like, there's plenty to still be learned. And that's the same here. The number one thing, I think there are two things that we can take away from last night's game. And number one is they are not the least bit intimidated by LeBron James. And understandably so, because Kyrie's played with him. And James Harden isn't intimidated by anyone. But the fact of the matter is, they used Jeff Green. They never once double-teamed LeBron James. And Kyrie even talked trash in this game, or someone did from the Nets, when LeBron James went to the free throw line and missed the free throw. And I believe it was Kyrie who said, well, that's the best free throw shooter you got? Normally, you don't do that with LeBron James. No one does that with LeBron James. And yet the Nets did, and they got away with it.
Man, I love Slick's take so much that I want to say I learned something, but I didn't learn anything. And that doesn't mean I'm ignorant. It just means I already knew that the Nets were coming out the East. Like, what the hell are we talking about here? And I knew that the Lakers, being the champions, were going to certainly be contenders this year. So I already have them booked in the conference finals against, hopefully, my Clippers, but it could be another team. But the Lakers going to be there. So what did I learn yesterday? Not a ton. Just like Acho, you got to understand, you look at a situation, you talk about, hey, I'll go to the booth and my boy laying down tracks and I need to hear more of the song. Well, if he gives you 14 of the 16 tracks, like layers of the song, you kind of know what the song gonna sound like. Like, you don't need that. That's the only thing missing right there in this situation. Look at the Brooklyn Nets and what they're doing historically. Why I'm not really learning anything from this team. Because this team is shooting over 50% from the field. And over the last 10 years, only 2 teams did that. And I wonder who those teams were. Miami Heat, when they lost the NBA Finals, but that was with LeBron and them boys. And the Golden State Warriors when they won the NBA Finals in 2017, 2018. That's it. So they're on the path to the finals. And if you look at last night's game, the only thing you can understand and really say that you learned is that Kyrie Irving is looking at LeBron like, oh, I'm coming for you. And he's not by himself. Kevin Durant is going to be sitting there saying the same thing. I'm the number 2 player in the world or whatever you're thinking. Like, these guys are extra motivated to prove something not only to the NBA, to the Lakers, but to the king himself.
It's cute. It's cute. Kyrie was like, I'm going to go get some big, bad other guys to take down LeBron. KD, yeah, I'm going to go get some too. That's cute, guys.
LeBron didn't do that with Anthony Davis?
We didn't learn nothing, bro. Like, we didn't learn anything. We know that the Nets are incredibly talented. We know that. Offensively, incredibly talented. But the questions we have about the Nets are this. How are they going to be when they have to face adversity? How are they going to be when all three of them play together? And who needs to take the last shot? Who needs to take the most important shot? What's going to happen when KD gets hot and Kyrie? You only score points in the teams for 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. Like, I want to learn something in crunch time. What they say, even in football, Sal, you learn more when you lose than when you win. You learn more in adversity. The Nets aren't going to teach us anything playing a Lakers team that's down their second best player. Listen to what Kyrie said post-game. A whole entire healthy Lakers team. That's what we really wanted. I know everybody wants that. I'm looking forward to that challenge down the road. Even Kyrie was like, yeah, this ain't really mean nothing. Like, we really wanted a healthy Lakers team. Because Kyrie ain't even learned nothing slick. He ain't learned nothing from that.
Look, what I learned is that if this comes down to a small ball finals, and yes, this may sound like it's contradicting my earlier statement, which is that I'm not convinced that the Nets can necessarily get there playing small ball, but let's say that they do. What I saw last night, and Acho, we're extrapolating here. You're right. It's an incomplete picture, but you're talking about what ifs. What if they doesn't work out when they play together? Okay. That's suggesting one direction based on something that we haven't seen yet. What I've seen is that that they are capable, with James Harden being unselfish and KD being happy that there are games where Kyrie's going to take more shots. But more important, the style of play that they played last night, even without KD, to me was an indicator that if they play fast and they play small, they're capable of knocking off the Lakers. Because what the Lakers did is essentially play a bigger style with LeBron James. They were trading 2s for 3s. LeBron James was killing it with that step-back turnaround. But it's only 2, and it takes them a while to get into that. Meanwhile, the Nets are running up and down and firing 3s, not just from KD or from Kyrie and James, but Joe Harris and all kinds of guys were getting into the mix. It's the first time I've looked at this situation and these two teams and said, you know what? Maybe this season is going to be different, like the bubble was different. You know, we looked at the bubble and we thought, well, the experience and all of that is going to play itself out, and that's going to be the determining factor. And then we get the young, up-and-coming Miami Heat, and they end up in the finals. Maybe, just maybe, this is one of those situations where, because defense to this point has not been emphasized, and look, we're almost to the All-Star game, and defenses still haven't improved. Maybe defenses aren't going to quite have the same impact. Maybe it is going to be a three-point shooting contest. And if it comes down to that and playing fast, then I see for the first time what I saw last night was an indicator that the Nets just may be capable of beating the Lakers if it comes down to a small ball finals.
Man, finally y'all show up to the club. I've been in here partying on my 5th bottle. Man, table full, and then here you go texting me. Hey, man, they won't let me in. I'm like, damn, I told y'all the Nets were going to be in there all day long. Each of the last 8 teams to lead the league in field goal percentage have reached the NBA Finals. Guess who's leading the league in field goal percentage? And if you lead the league in field goal percentage and the #1 scorer in offense, oh, my God, you're either the Golden State Warriors that won the finals, the other Golden State Warriors that won the finals, or the Golden State Warriors that lost the finals, or the other Golden State Warriors that won the finals. Man, they are in beautiful company. Come to my table. Y'all gonna enjoy yourselves. Coming up, there's been a lot of